So there are some content creators out there that are like, we don't need no stinking Instagram. We don't need no stinking TikTok. Well, because we're now learning that Instagram influencers and others are learning about the new era of the independent creator. A study of the creator economy shows how creators are moving away from monetizing via social platforms and instead getting paid directly by fans. You know why? Because some people don't want to be affiliates. If there's a way to go ahead and make all the money, then let's find a way to make all the money. Why do we need to give a cut? When somebody realizes, it's just like old school business. You work with somebody and then you're making your business, then you want to work on your own. Nicole Laporte writes this in Fast Company. Despite the boom of the so-called influencer economy over the past decade plus, creators who make their money living posting content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and more are continuing to face now familiar challenges. Building a business on the back of an ever-changing algorithm determined by big tech companies, the grueling reality of having to post multiple pieces of content a day, and ultimately for many, the meager financial reward. So for every TikTok star that's raking in millions, there are thousands of other creators who can barely make ends meet. Now we have the rise of new platforms like Substack, Gumroad, and Kajabi, allowing creators to connect with their fans and earn money from them directly, to give us the rise of the independent creator. Now, there's a study that was commissioned by Mighty Networks, a platform that allows creators to be more in control of their profits. And it was also conducted by Nonfiction Research and Bodacious Strategy Studio. 1,624 creators who earn an income from what they do analyze their work life. And here's what they found out in the conclusion. When you look under the hood at a creator's business, the foundation is shaky AF. Now, one of the things they found out in the story, founder and CEO of this particular company, what was it again? Mighty Networks. She says creators are not going to ever leave social media. This is not about hashtag delete Facebook, but what we are talking about is people being much more mercenary about social media in pursuit of finding meaning and being much more of a missionary when it comes to their own community and their own direct model. They're putting ownership front and center. Well, that's smart. So in the report, they find 4 steps. Number 1, they own, they don't rent. So the idea is not to totally touch Facebook and Twitter, but for creators to become less reliant on them, instead looking to platforms like Substack and Gumroad, where they can own their own content through subscriptions. And some will use merchandise, some will use endorsements, some will use, product placement, whatever there might be. The goal is to unite various content offerings on one platform, as opposed to offering online courses on one platform and video content on another. Right, because some people, they bring people to the dance and then they sell you on something else. I got something to sell for you. That's what they do. They go niche, number 2, not broad. The report says for a creator to earn $1,000 a month, they need at least 229 Substack subscribers, 224 Patreon supporters, 100,000 Instagram followers, or 2 million monthly YouTube views. So smaller, more targeted audiences are as much about joining a community as following an individual, are ultimately more valuable to creators because then they're able to connect the followers to each other and unite them in a passionate cause, as opposed to giving them a place to simply like or leave a comment about content. Number 3, they cultivate communities, not audiences. So they're more interested in building hubs where people can gather and communicate, as opposed to places where people drop by to click through a few thumbs up buttons. Though memberships of subscriptions, creators can offer the community members specifically more opportunities to engage and more events to attend. They're all aimed at bringing the group closer. But remember, when they're doing this, they're doing more work as opposed to what they were originally doing in the first place. But that's the lesson you learned being a small business owner, and you learn to go and move along. For me, I never bothered with that. This is not a hobby to me. Like, I do make a little bit of scratch on this, but nothing close to what I could make. And that's okay. But one thing I do is I do enjoy doing this. And for some people, man, when you're a creator, you're being creative, but also you got to think the things up. You got to keep your audience stimulated. And it's not easy to keep doing that. You can't always just be one-dimensional. You got to find ways to keep yourself going. And that's what I learned about that. And honestly, the whole pandemic really gave time when we were kind of locked down and we weren't going out as much. It gave me a lot of time to learn about things. So I take all that into perspective when I think about it. I mean, right now I'm going to be coming up on, is it 2 years I've been doing this when on the podcasting series? Yeah. And, it's been fun. There's a lot of learning from this. A lot of things I'm learning out of all this. Actually, what was it? June 2019 I started, I think it was. Somewhere in like May, June. I remember that's when it was. So it's been 2.5 years. And I've learned a lot from it. Of all my other content, too. I mean, if you luck out and you have the audience and they'll stick with you for everything, then that's where you go ahead and try to go and make it in for yourself without the help of other sources. Why not? Number 4, they build network effects, not content conveyor belts. So creators for Instagram and Facebook have always been able to instantly plug into their platforms' networks. But now creators want to build up their own networks using their own tools. Again, the idea is not just to serve up content to an array of social media sites, but to build a primary online hub that followers will come back to again and again to engage with because of its community atmosphere. Well, I mean, I wish I could do the same for myself because I try to do it with my website. It's tough. It's tough to say that I get a whole lot of people that show up to my site and I can look at Google Analytics all I want. I'm not getting that kind of audience like everybody else does, but there's a reason why. There's a whole thought process to how it all works out. It's tough. It's very tough. What can I say? I mean, when I look at myself right now and I look at how far back I can look at the audience, just on my website, kingofpodcasts.com. If I look at the last 90 days, yeah, I got some people that have been there. The bounce rate's, up. Sessions are up. Users are up. But, it's not enough to kind of say, oh, wow, I'm really amazed by what I'm getting. It's not so much of that. But, hey, at least people are going over there. I get a little bit of response here and there. That's nice. But nothing close to where everybody else is like, wow, this is amazing. And I look and it's like the audience is only so much. If I look at the demographic, probably not much of getting out of all that. I can look at the information and see what happens. But, it's amazing to go ahead and look at how much work everybody's doing to try to get themselves somewhere. It's a lot of work. What can I say? Anyway, back to the story. So these communities need not have massive social media followings. The report says that on one platform that allows creators to build their own direct-to-consumer following, the platform's 250 revenue-producing users had a median social media of following of just 8,500. So it doesn't mean you have to have the big audience that you get for the social media sites because of the amount of people that can get on it and adopt it and look at all the content. But then you're trying to move yourself over to trying to be more often to be noticed by a smaller group. But can you monetize that group? Will they be loyal to you and will they support your cause? Because you entertain them, you inform them, you make them happy. You make them happy to follow you because you're like their friend from afar. Interesting subject. I'm going to leave it there. And thanks for listening. Hope you will follow, like, share, and subscribe. If you listen on the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to When I'm Not Podcasting because you can hear these episodes regularly, a couple times a week. And I'll talk to you next time.